with a common denominator.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time.
Everyone has access to the information. We just know how to analyze it better.
Where else you gonna have this much fun?
You the man. Todd Father.
Show me the money.
What I've been doing, had to triple my bag. Had to triple my bag. Wow. Had to triple my bag. Wow. Had to triple my bag. Yeah. Had to triple my bag.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's no trick to make a lot of money. All you want is to make a lot of money.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live episode of Learn Crypto. Feels good to be back. My name is Nick Hellman.
I'm Todd Butterfield.
And we got a decent show today. We got a couple questions in here already. Somebody talking about any word on the Bitcoin ETF. We're going to discuss an article about that. The earliest it can be released, I believe, is August 16th, and they can always push that date back. So we will discuss that here shortly. And we got other people talking about BTC stair-stepping higher. When is DigiByte Moon? DigiByte is one that we've talked about recently, and ever since that interview and with what's going on in the market, that one has really, performed better than a lot, as well as XLM Stellar Lumens. If you've watched this since day one, I always preached I liked XLM over XRP for that sector. So far, that is proving to be a better choice. And then we've also discussed Basic Attention Token on various times. That thing had some pretty good price actions, giving up some gains here, but these are all ones that were announced by Coinbase that are kind of trying to hold on to these gains while Bitcoin is really leading the charge. People are selling a lot of their altcoins down here at what could be the bottoms to get into Bitcoin for the speculation of the Bitcoin ETF.
Bass backwards.
At this point in time, I do not recommend doing that. The alts may be at their bottoms. I would not recommend selling now at a 90% loss to chase what could be maybe a 25, 30, 50% gain in Bitcoin. Bitcoin probably will lead this next charge, but as Bitcoin grows, people will take profits off that and move it into these altcoins. If you follow us, you know that we preach portfolio diversification. You should already have a little Bitcoin and large caps in your portfolio. Therefore, in times like this, when altcoins are bottoming out and Bitcoin is leading the charge, you're still doing pretty well. So keep that in mind. If you want to do it, that's great. I just know I've been seeing a lot of people like, oh, I'm selling XYZ altcoin now to buy Bitcoin for this ETF. I think that's going to hurt you over the mid and long term on that play. So that is up to you.
What's up, Hugo, Trent,
also,
Elizabeth, Taj?
A lot of you noticed that we haven't been here for the past week. A lot of you know what's going on. Some of you don't. My mother did pass away on Friday from cancer. So thanks for all the support, the condolences. We're here, keeping myself busy. Had the few days off. We will be live today and tomorrow. The wake is on Wednesday. The funeral's on Thursday, so I doubt I do anything with YouTube on those days. But hopefully by next week, we'll be back on the normal Monday through Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central live schedule at least. And I have a couple interviews planned between now and the weekend, so look out for those as well. So thanks again for the condolences and everything going on. Don't really want to talk about it beyond that. And Gallagher, if you're in here, shout out to you. I gave the Fiat equivalent of your donation to my dad on Saturday, so I appreciate the generosity there. And obviously it's going to be used. I didn't realize how expensive that kind of stuff is. But again, I'm glad to be back here. You guys are like a second family, so you guys cheer me up. And we'll go ahead and get right into this. We do have a ZEN giveaway from last Monday, so we will be picking a winner from that show live tonight. And also, we will be giving away some ZEN for tonight's show, so make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below with your ZEN Cash wallet address. Make sure to hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and it is as simple as that. Got anything to add before we hop into this?
Nope. Jump in. I'm ready to go.
With your ZEN Cash wallet address. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and it is as simple.
I think that's you.
That's me. All right.
You pulled a Todd.
So currently the market cap is gaining some ground, stair-stepping higher slowly but surely at $284 billion. Bitcoin dominance is also increasing, guys, 46.7%. Now, I don't think this is going to be like last summer where we saw a 70% Bitcoin dominance, but I think it could still inch higher as we start getting speculation and word of this ETF, I think a lot of people are going to make kind of what I think is a poor decision, sell the alts at the low here and hop on into the Bitcoin wagon. But also that's going to be generated from institutional money and new retail investors getting on Coinbase, whether it be via custody or via retail side. And, you know, what are your options to buy there? Bitcoin is what they're hearing about in the news. Bitcoin is what their first investment will be. And that's why I think that Bitcoin dominance probably will inch higher as well as we move forward into this, hopefully, what is the next bull market. So we do have Bitcoin up 4% at $7,723. We have some good Wyckoff markings on a chart that Todd's going to show you here shortly. A lot of the other ones today were all red. So EOS is finally hitting into the green here, breaking $8 once again. But everything else is really red. Monero up 4%. Ethereum Classic almost even, and NEM up 2%. So nothing too special. We have Holo and Electroneum being the big winners for today, as well as Syscoin. So congratulations there. Holo up 47.8%. Take some profits, guys. There is $12 million in volume, but I would be looking with current market sentiment to probably swing trade that there. Syscoin is having a rebound after all the stuff they had going on with their hack of their blockchain with Binance, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if I fully trust in that product or that project, so I have not gotten back behind that. And then Bitcoin Private having a 10% day, but still only sitting at $7.50. I know I participated in that Z Classic trade. Obviously, I mined Z Classic, so it's not that big of a deal. But at the fork time, I think Bitcoin Private was supposed to be valued around $40 each. So far, you're probably down about 75% on that option. Nothing too crazy to talk about. No major news that I can think of just by looking at this CoinMarketCap list. So we'll go ahead, throw it over to Todd, get the charts going, and then we'll get into some of these news articles and coin articles here in a second.
Okay. We got the 15-minute Bitcoin. We've been following this live, as you know. So far, we kind of called most of the moves here. I think that's still the 3-4 that we had talked about. We need a 5, hopefully up through 78.50. Crazy, we've been up here 77, 7,800 all day. We had another one of those spike lowers, brought it back again. So I still think there's more upside. And as Nick said, not all these coins are moving together. So I want to be careful because I still think we're going much higher. But if you start looking at the altcoins, obviously they got way different counts. So there's a possibility this is a 1-2 and even another 1-2 for a lot higher. So I don't want to get caught up on Elliott Wave because it can be wrong here and we could miss, I think, still much more upside. But so far it has on a short-term basis has kept us pretty well. So if it continues, I mean, you're going to see some type of wave top out up here. And they're going to go into another fourth wave. This fourth wave will find support of the previous fourth wave, which would be 7,200. It shouldn't overlap the 6,800. So somewhere, could go down to 7,000 maybe on a quick dump. Or maybe hold a triangle and really hold this 7,700 level strong. And then you'd have another move to new highs for the fifth. Then that would be a completed wave up. And from there, you'd have a much deeper correction. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out going into the ETF for sure. So let's look at, and again, if you look at Bitcoin Cash, some of these, they look more like 1-2s and some of them just a 1-2, 1-2. So some of these are hard to decipher. Dash 241. I mean, this would be previous support where it found it. Did not rally off of it strong. Now we're back down to it. So I don't know if we come down here to 230-ish before we can get things turned around. Classic. Back to that 1570 support. Has been here many times. Ethereum 450. Same thing, a little heavy. If you go back to, let's do the 45-minute. It looked more like we did a 1-2 and then a 1-2, so we could have really a a quick explosion to the upside. But again, that looks a little suspect with today's lack of follow through. Litecoin, same chart. Neo, a little worse of a chart. Ripple, same chart. So not sure on those. I mean, let's go back to ADA still doing well. There again, we got more of a Bitcoin type chart to a point. We've got BAT USD, had that spike early today. You've got DigiByte USD looking pretty well, staying right with it. These are some we've been talking about. MAID, 0.435. And I'm telling you guys, it's really going to come down to the right coins moving forward. It's not going to be, you know, these up waves aren't going to take everything. They're going to take everything for a minute, and then the rest are going to dump. So some of these coins are going to start falling by the wayside. Strat, not too bad. VEN not doing very well. That's one that was acting really strong. XLM USD still holding in nicely.
That's looking like it might be priming up for a pork blaster.
That looks like
there.
a pork blaster coming.
Pork blaster incoming on that one.
Incoming blaster. ZEN back down to 25.62, but previous fourth wave, so that one still looks good. ZRX $1.13. Can't complain there either. So some of those look like, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2s or 1, 2, 3, 4s and another spike here. So Bitcoin's the strongest, so Bitcoin might surprise us a lot more to the upside here. So
Elizabeth says,
I think you got to stand pat, stay long.
Elizabeth says, keep your alts, sell a kidney. There you go. If you haven't sold them to this point, there's no, I mean, if you truly believe that this market is turning around right here, right now, there is no reason you should be selling the bottoms of these altcoins. Will they maybe see a further Satoshi drop if you're trading against the Bitcoin pair? Sure. If more people start selling those and put into Bitcoin, you might have a short-term drop in Satoshi value. But if Bitcoin does truly go on a bull run, these alts may not keep up in Satoshi, but they definitely will be relevant in USD terms. And once the Bitcoin market cycle is over, a lot of the people who have been here longer hold big Bitcoin bags, then take some of that Bitcoin off the table and pump those altcoins. That is when you see those ridiculous pumps that you've been holding on this long. Don't you want to be part of those? You bought these projects because you like the fundamentals, you like the teams, and now they're actually producing projects and you're thinking about selling them. I would not be doing that.
And I'm going to tell you the worst feeling is it's not cool to hold Bitcoin on the way down, but it's also not sitting here saying that you got out of Bitcoin at 6,000 or 6,500 or 6,800, and now you need it to come back down to let you back in again. So that's uncomfortable if you really think we're headed, you know, to new highs or 60,000 or whatever. So I think you got to be invested because Bitcoin will make some big moves in a short period of time, and I think that's still in front of us. Who's saying that the ETF is nearly certain? I don't know if anyone's saying that. I mean, I
got an article with...
I'm going to say it's certain, but I'm not certain it's on the 10th or 16th or whatever, but it's coming.
We'll get that in a second.
We'll have some sell-offs because it's delayed or whatever possibly, but I'm not sure that matters. I think we're headed higher into that, and any bad news on that is another chance to buy. So I don't have an issue with that.
Do you want to go ahead and
show
the graduate or whatever, and then we'll get into
Yep,
this?
we got a graduate somewhere here. Yep, we got Sylvia Pensu, graduated, I think it was last night. Congratulations to him. And him and I have talked. He's really jumping into trading and wanting to do a little more paper trading, so shout out to him. And I did notice, you know, in the last week or so, a lot more people are coming back, picking up where they left off, doing the new lessons I added. And I think, you know, going to get back into trading these coins again. So shout out to him.
Sweet. Sounds good. Got another one over there. If you don't know what that is referring to, go over to learncrypto.io or look in the description below to see everything we offer outside of YouTube for you guys. to help you on your journey in this crazy cryptocurrency ecosystem. And obviously, learning trading applies to the traditional markets as well. So it's a win-win.
While we're here, let me go over this Wyckoff schematic. A lot of people throw this up. They put their own logo on it. They did steal that from the Wyckoff course because this is taken out of my course with Wyckoff Stock Market Institute. So this is actually the original Wyckoff schematic of accumulation. So you can see here, preliminary support, selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test. Then you go up, check the range, maybe up thrust it. That happens a lot. Come back down for another secondary test. And then you slow up here, volume slows up, daily ranges decrease, etc. You kind of build a creek area where there's some resistance. You come down and scare everybody out. This is a composite man selling here because they know that if they take it below the test and the selling climax, that the uninformed public is going to panic. So they drive it down on purpose. They'll offer it all the way down. When they get down to new lows, they'll pull their offers and start buying it back aggressively. That gives you the spring or shakeout. You come back, then you test it, and then you have the sign of strength and the jump across the creek. So this is normally a sign of strength, a last point of support. Then you've got a jump, and you got to back up to the creek. Then you're off to the races. So if you take that schematic and you take our software, I mean, there it basically is again, preliminary support, selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test, volume falls off. And again, this is volume from the 89 exchanges. So you're seeing how much volume has fallen off. You go down to new lows, you can't bring any selling back out. And if you want to win a little bit of Elliott wave, you can say, well, we're back here, previous fourth wave support, which is important. We rallied off of it, and I've showed you on a short-term time frame. The volume was pretty decent off this low. No selling coming back for the test. And then we had this quick surprise up to 7,400. So, if you're looking at Wyckoff, looking at that chart, everything so far looks pretty good. And the rallies here on the 15-minute charts that I've been following, everything's working perfect. So,
awesome.
Cool.
There we go. So somebody also said, what are your top 3 coins in the top 25, Nick? Now that is a kind of an open-ended question because there's multiple time frames. When I'm looking at investments, I'm playing some short-term, some mid-term, some long-term investments. But if you're looking at current conditions of the market right now, I'd probably say Stellar. Obviously, I've been owning Stellar for a while since this show first came on here and way beyond that. I've been in Stellar since 8 or 9 cents with some swing trades. But I would say Stellar right now is one I'm looking at a lot. I think maybe some of these XRP followers or community members may start putting some of their money in Stellar with the advancements Stellar's making with IBM in that same sector as XRP. And you have to use XLM on that platform, which we know with Ripple, it is only an optionality. It is not forced, which is one reason that I've always been saying to be careful with that, because Ripple leaves it open-ended to where they have 2 paths for success. But only one of those paths includes XRP. If that one is failing, they can still go on. Ripple can succeed, but with XRP dying, you just got to keep that in mind. Not saying that will happen, but I'm just saying that it can. That is all I'm trying to preach. So I would say Stellar at number 6. Obviously, you guys know I am really big on NEO for the long term, but I'm not going to include that in the top 3. That's one I just hold. I don't even trade that. I just let it do its thing, collect gas. I would say Ethereum Classic. I think this thing, even without the Coinbase news, is extremely undervalued. Ethereum Classic can literally do everything Ethereum is doing, plus they're trying to add Internet of Things, and they're trying to add interoperability on their blockchain with Ethereum, with Cardano, and with others. I think once the masses have realization of the potential of Ethereum Classic, we are going to see a great increase. The smart money, Grayscale, OTC markets, Coinbase now are all adding Ethereum Classic, which is going to be added to the index, to custodian, and all Grayscale products, because they've already realized this. They've read the white papers, they've done the research, they know what it truly is. Obviously, crypto Twitter might say something different, but I'm just saying the smart money is already getting behind Ethereum Classic. You have miners getting behind Ethereum Classic, and with the Coinbase listing, that can happen at any point. The coding is done. The logo is already on the Coinbase custody side. It's on all products except the retail side. Once the logo gets added to the retail, trading will start within 24 hours. And I think you're going to have a short-term explosion in Ethereum Classic, but really that mid-term growth of Ethereum Classic as the next bull run starts over there. As we get new retail investors in the space, Ethereum Classic is going to be the cheapest option on Coinbase, and we all know how prevalent unit bias is in this ecosystem. I add all that together, and I am a buyer of Ethereum Classic. And then lastly, in the top 25, I really like 0x. This is another one I've been on for a while. Gary brought it up a while ago. I think they are really starting to get more and more relayers or decentralized exchanges building on top of that 0x protocol, as well as Coinbase will be using the 0x protocol here shortly, and the possibility of getting listed on Coinbase is just a plus. The real question is, people always question the token economics, or these relayers aren't charging 0x, etc. But remember, utilization of a network can drive price appreciation. The more decentralized exchanges, the more users of the underlying 0x protocol, the price should appreciate with this ZRX token they have there. So those are probably the top 3 that I like under current market conditions out of the top 25. Real quick, WAN Chain did release WAN Chain 2.0. What does this mean? This is the first time, not the first time, but they are finally meeting on some of their goals where they are now interoperable with Ethereum network. What does that word mean? A lot of people toss it out. Essentially, that means that the WAN chain and the Ethereum blockchain can now communicate with each other, and transactions can occur between them, almost like an atomic swap, except it will be a seamless automatic feature. If you want to dig deeper into this new project and what else they're doing, I would just go over to their Twitter and read this. I'm not going to go through it all. You guys do know that I like WAN Chain, ICX, and Aeon as a 3-way partnership. And with, I think Korea is going to step up their game and start killing it again. And we all know ICX is a creation from Korea. They're going to want to support their hometown favorite, if that's what you will. And I think that all 3 of those are really going to benefit from that next opportunity. So that's one to keep an eye on. That is one that has looked ugly on the charts. Could be finding a bottom. There, if this kind of launch announcement was made during a bull run, you would have saw 25, 35, 45% gains today. And I didn't really look at it, but I don't think it had much of a push at all off of that announcement. It's actually down 7% for the day. So that's one that is a truly bottomed out chart. Terrible looking chart from a technical perspective. Todd probably wouldn't touch it, but from what they have going on, I would maybe take a look and make your own decision.
I wouldn't let my mother buy that.
I wouldn't let my mother buy that.
No, I wouldn't let. Hey, can we go back? I got something. I got like too many things to talk about with this software. First of all,
he's getting excited.
Yeah, just for all the haters that said it never would come, try not to purchase it, because I will delete your purchase. I will credit you back your money, but I know who's been trolling me over the last 6 months. I will not let you purchase the software. just to be a dick. And I'm serious. So here's the WWCI. We're calling that the Wyckoff Wave Crypto Index. And you can see here, guys, if you go to the top, compare holdings. If you click that, it brings up who makes up the WWCI. You can see it's Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Zcash. Those do have certain multiples that we gave it. So the black line is the index. So you can see here, obviously the Bitcoin has been leading it. You can change the date on all this, etc. So that's cool. If you, we've only got that built, and then we build a Wyckoff Wave privacy just to get them working. So normally when you click this, you're going to see the crypto index, then you're going to see a bunch of sectors that Nick and I, and also some help from the community, is going to have here. So we're going to have like 10 or 12 sectors. So you can try to figure out the trend of the market, try to figure out the strong sectors, then try to figure out the strong coins inside the sector. So that's the plan. Let's see if this is, and again, the software is working, just trying to figure out issues with it is all we're really trying to do. And I can work through issues if I reload software, because again, I'm just trying to tell them what's not working, what needs to be changed, etc. That's all we're kind of doing now. Then I know the Wyckoff Wave privacy. Same thing, it'll bring it up. And then you can check inside there. We just have 3 coins here, Dash, Zcash, and XVC. But trying to get those all working flawlessly, get more sectors brought in. And then also we're going to have a compare sectors chart. You're going to be able to click a button up here that says compare sectors. And that'll bring up the index and also the sector. So once again, it's only bringing up the WWP. That's the only one that we have. So you'll be able to see, okay, privacy coins are strong here, etc. What coins is inside there? We'll have that all hopefully set up working perfectly. So that is the plan. Once you grab a couple of more news, and I'm going to go into the Bitcoin 5-minute chart here in a minute.
Yeah, so somebody was saying, who is saying that the Bitcoin ETF is nearly certain? Well, here on Learn Crypto, we were saying that I put 100% on it before anybody else was talking about it. 2 days after us, we had Tika Tawari coming out saying he thinks it's going to happen, and more people are saying on crypto Twitter now. But now these are some actual individuals that are working within the SEC and CFTC that are having some optimism on a Bitcoin ETF. So working back channels at the SEC and the CFTC in particular, we've come across 2 sources that seem to be, quote, nearly certain that the crypto ETF conversation is about to take a seriously bullish turn. The background for the optimism is tempered with some specific downside, coming crypto and ICO regulations. Both sources say that the nearly certain approval of a Bitcoin ETF and other crypto ETF products will be announced alongside the first set of crypto regulations of substance from both the SEC and the CFTC. The most optimistic source saying, quote, this is coming from CFTC themselves, or an individual from CFTC, I would call it 90% at this choice. The crypto markets have moderated and regulators have watched the lack of drama surrounding Bitcoin futures across several global exchanges. The price moderation and adoption of a, quote, peer product is what the conversations have centered around. In January, we were justifiably concerned about a bubble and the harm a quickly approved product could attract speculators and create losses that led to significant lawsuits. Now those factors seem to be mitigated significantly. Obviously, what he's talking about is they aren't going to put an ETF in place when Bitcoin is $20,000 because that is a little overambitious as it was. Bitcoin probably should have only went up to about $12,000, $13,000. We had that blow off top. Plus, they don't want to build an ETF when we're already at $20,000 because they don't have the infrastructure. That means they missed out on the opportunity to make big gains. Now that we have found consistent support around the 5,800, 7K mark, less volatility, now is the time that they could put an ETF into place, create that infrastructure, and then profit on retail investors as well as institutions coming into play. The second source, a former SEC employee who left the regulator 2 weeks ago, had this to say, quote, I would expect a positive outcome in September is what he is calling for, or if it gets strung out a little further, it is simply a few dotted I's and crossed T's are being finalized on larger regulatory language in the crypto space. To be clear, most of the regulation will be first focused on ICOs and the issues those pose for retail investors at the moment. U.S. residents are sending money to all sorts of exotic locations to invest in unregulated instruments with absolutely zero recourse for losing every cent they put at risk. ICO regulation will begin to solve those issues and keep client assets on shore. So here we go. He's saying that regulation for the crypto space is going to be for the scams and the ICOs. They're going to focus on keeping U.S. investor money on shore, which is what they want. That's how they make money. But he thinks there's going to be a positive outcome with the Bitcoin ETF by September. 2 prominent people, one from CFTC and one who just left the SEC, saying that they kind of see it the same way we do, that it's only a matter of time before a Bitcoin ETF comes. The institutional infrastructure has been built, like we were discussing when we hit the bottom around $5,800. And if you do not own Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at this time, you might want to start dollar cost averaging into that because now is probably the best time as ever. What else you got to talk about? Let me talk about Bittrex real quick because somebody keeps asking about it. So yes, Bittrex has USDT, has TrueUSD, and some USD pairs, but it has been very limited to crypto or corporate accounts and very little retail accounts. But they have now just put out an announcement that they are expanding that. What I mean by that is you are actually going to be able to link your bank account to the Bittrex exchange like you do with Coinbase, Gemini, and some of these others, which gives automatic liquidity advantages for some of the altcoins over on Bittrex. So obviously we all know that Bittrex has lost a ton of volume like KuCoin. Some of the coins that found themselves only on Bittrex, they're not on Binance or some of these other thriving exchanges, have seen some struggles here in the bear market. Is this an opportunity for those altcoin gems to see rebirth, as there might be a more fiat providing liquidity and volume over to that platform? That's a strong possibility. But Bittrex now supports eligible personal and corporate accounts for the US dollar trading, USD deposits, and USD withdrawals. International customers and those operating in California, New York, Montana, and Washington State with identity verified accounts are eligible. Bittrex needs you to request your accounts be added to the USD markets. For existing personal and corporate accounts, the request takes just a few minutes to complete, and approval usually takes just a few days or less. So, if you're on Bittrex and you're not in America, or you're in one of those 4 states, reach out to Bittrex if you want to hook up your bank account there to where it is almost becoming another fiat onboarding platform option for crypto's investors. And we'll see if Bittrex can really start thriving once again. We do know that they are creating some kind of exchange out in Malta there. Bittrex is one of those exchanges that when we first started the show was one of the top exchanges, and now it's like, what, top 25 maybe in volume? It's been struggling. So this is their effort to help themselves, but really this helps the entire crypto space as well because it provides another trusted source for fiat onboarding. In order for crypto prices to go up, you need people to buy them. And the easier it is for people to understand how to buy them, the easier it is for them to start getting involved.
And will the software, we haven't finalized it. We've always talked about $75 for non-students and half of that for students. So that's still kind of my guess at the moment. Let me have the screen back because I want to go through a couple more things. Here's a Bitcoin Binance 5-minute chart. And again, you can only, and 5-minute on-bounce volume. It's keeping track of all volume on every 5-minute waves, which is what the whole Wyckoff system is based on. So you can see here on this sell-off, volume just came down and kind of double bottomed along with the price. If you go to Bitcoin, Coinbase, same thing, came down and just kind of held the lows, volume nothing, everything's kind of moving in lockstep. But if you go to our software, you can see that big selling came in on Bitcoin during that same time frame. Big selling, price held the low. I mean, that's, especially if the market's oversold, I mean, that's a buy point right there that you could buy and risk, just a little bit below the lows. So just things like that, when you've got volume from 89 exchanges, it's going to look way different than going to TradingView and bringing up Binance or Bittrex or Coinbase Pro or whatever. So those are the things I'm hoping is going to help us, is having much more true volume of what's really going on. Because this is Bitcoin, 5-minute, and this is the OP with it. And you can see right now, I mean, again, we're having a few issues with the posting, etc., but you can see the data is being drawn in. It is working. We're just trying to fix a few headaches is all we're doing. So, and I think it's going to be, and you can see here on the rally that volume has stayed consistently behind it. And we've had an issue on the 5-minute where, we're higher than this. So this is a few hours behind because there was an issue after that today on getting more data into the system. But it told you really there was no concern with volume on that rally. And if you look at some of the other charts, you'll see that there was some issues with the volume if you're only looking at one exchange. So I don't know how anybody doing T&A on YouTube is going to, if they're talking volume from one exchange, they're going to get themselves in trouble. And that's why I never talked a lot about Wyckoff, because I did not have consolidated volume in front of me, and I didn't want called out on that. Because you can't sit there and be like, oh, the rally had huge volume, that makes me bullish, and you find out that the only exchange that had huge volume was the one you brought up. All the other exchanges had no volume. So then you're going to look like an idiot. So.
Well, we're pretty far into the show, but I almost forgot we have the ZEN giveaway today. This is from the live show, the last live show I was on last Monday, so we will be giving that away live here in a second. Also, if you're just tuning in, we will be giving away ZEN today. How do you participate, you ask? Simply leave your ZEN address in the comment section below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and smash that like button. As simple as that, you get your fair opportunity to win some ZEN cash and help bolster up those bags during this market woes. So let's go ahead and steal this. Before I click on that one, I did post a couple interviews recently. Event Rabbit was last week. That is an interesting project. I would look into that because they're going to really compete with some of these first movers in the space, I believe, as far as what they're trying to do to provide live content to somebody who is sitting at home. Say you want to go to a concert, but the traveling and the amount of time and the cost is way too high. If somebody who is doing a live concert wants to offer the Event Rabbit live streaming, they would charge you $10 worth of event tokens, and then you can see the live concert straight from your living room. I think it's definitely very interesting. But the ones that I do think that people should really watch is both of these EOS ones. This one, the newest one, is from an actual one of their 21 block producers that everybody fears is super centralized. He kind of gives you his opinion on that, what it means to be one of the top 21 block producers, and his quick and concise thoughts on EOS. So this is much of a lower level, easy to grasp view of EOS. And then we have EOS Detroit over here. This is a standby block producer. I think they're currently ranked around number 65, which is what creates that balance and kind of disperses some of that centralization of EOS. He talked at a way higher level. So if you really want to know about the technicals of EOS, what he thinks moving forward, what the pros, the cons, the etc., he talks on a very technical level. So this one for technicals, this one was Cipher Glass to get the perspective of a current block producer and get it in a very concise and short manner to really wrap your head around, get a basic understanding of what EOS is. So make sure to watch those. I always notice that some of these just don't get as many views as the live show. Guys, I'm telling you, a lot of the massive gains that we found in bear markets came directly from interviews and analyzing the way they react to questions and how they answer specific questions. And if you can start reading these individuals a little bit of the body language, what they're telling you, that's a lot of where you're going to get solid fundamentals from and solid hunches on certain projects. So make sure to watch those. But here we go. I believe it was this one. Did you take our buy signal? This was last Monday, and we were still inching higher, so I don't know if you guys took it or not. We're going to go ahead and copy that URL. Jason Bond,
founder of JasonBondPicks.com.
Throw it in here.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama winning again.
Haven't seen him in a while.
52 unique comments. Here we go. You got a 1 in 52 chance to win one full ZEN cash. I do cover the transaction fee, so don't worry about that. Here we go. Drum roll. Give me a drum roll at your house, guys. The winner is Lloyd Christmas. Guys, still on point.
Who's that?
The break today reflects what Todd's been saying, and Nick's call on ZEN has been solid. Speaking of ZEN, there's a giveaway happening on this channel. So subscribe if you haven't, and drop your ZEN Cash T address here. Well, shout out to you, Lloyd. It looks like you did a little advertising for us there, and you just happened to win that contest that you were trying to get other people to enter. I will send that to you today. And if you thought that was fun, guys, and it's that easy to win 20 bucks, then leave that ZEN address below. Participate, be an active community member, because that's how we start recognizing these names. A lot of the same people come into the chat box. They ask for my opinions. They give their opinions, and we really grow a community here because we have one goal. We're all trying to make money, and we're all trying to accumulate cryptocurrencies. If we can do that, that is awesome. That can only be done by generating good conversation, debates, and growing a solid community. And that's why we always do giveaways to keep you guys coming back.
Give the screen back to Todd Thanksgiving.
Todd Thanksgiving.
All right, I'm too excited. Go back to the software. All right, 1 year Bitcoin. I want to make sure everyone understands, because I know a lot of people, I've told them to look at on-balance volume, etc. You got to understand that when you go to a daily on-balance volume and trading view, what they do is, at the end of the day, if Bitcoin is up 10 cents, all the volume for that day is considered up volume. If it's down a penny, it's considered down volume, even though, during the day, a lot could have happened. So our software is taking it every 5 minutes, and then at the end of the day, netting that out for a net close for the day. So you can say this is a daily on-balance volume, but it's based on 5-minute data. So you can throw that daily on-balance volume out the window. That's of no help. even though Joseph Granville did make that pretty famous and made huge market calls off of that back in the 80s. But and you can see here, technometer is not loaded right, and the force is having some issues. So those are the things we're working on. But price, volume, and pretty much the OP is working out perfect as far as I can tell right now. One thing to look at, when we rallied up to the 20,000, you can see here, if you can see it on the charts, the OP down here made 3 consecutive tops down here like it had a lid on it. And those tops are back here where Bitcoin topped out at 17, fell to 12.5, ran back to almost 18, fell to 15.7, and then ran to 20. So that price rally, looking back now, which is easy to say, but I told you back then I needed software to trade better, but it would have showed you that there was no volume coming in. If these are getting calculated correctly, which I think they are, it showed you no volume came in on that last rally. So what that meant, price was going up, and I would say the composite man, the intelligent whales, owners, whatever, was quietly selling into that. So, because that would have been, when you're up here at 20,000 and the OP's not supporting it, that is an issue.
And when you're saying no volume, you're meaning no volume if you're netting positive and negative volume together. Correct?
Right. There was no net volume on those days.
There you go. Because I know somebody's going to pop up here and be like, oh, that's when we had the highest volume. But you have to understand there's a difference between volume, daily volume, and then net volume, where you have buyers and sellers. If those are netting out,
don't worry, the trolls are coming. They love to tell you don't know what you're talking about. And I know nothing about Wyckoff. Yeah, okay. And then we even had that, I hate to say it, Peter Brandt, who I've supported here. I've mentioned his name months in the past. He did say he didn't support knockoffs or whatever. I don't think he knew who he was talking to. Obviously, we're not a knockoff. And actually, that goes back. Carrie just talked to Tom Lee today on Twitter and told us we was available and that we own Wyckoff, et cetera. And actually, he spoke to her. So that was cool. Yeah, but what that means is you had green up bars that, again, would have been green bars on the volume. And actually, there's some back here that were green. But net during the day, there was not big volume behind that price move. There was no volume behind it. So it was kind of getting supported out of thin air, which really meant, looking back, the dumb public was buying and it was getting unloaded into. And then that's what this first bar off of there showed you. So again, easy to say that. I don't want to say that now, but I've said we need the software. We're going to see these as we proceed, and hopefully it helps us all trade. Because I've got probably, I don't know if there's 200 coins adding. I will add coins that people bring up to me. It'll take me, a day probably to get them into the system. I'm not going to put 1,500 trading pairs into the software because I don't want extra garbage in there. I am putting USD, USDT, and BTC pairs, even though I'm not a fan of BTC pairs. But I know a lot of people that look at it or want the software will be doing that. So hopefully the software gets down where I can trust it, 100%. And then I'm going to go live more during the day like I have been. I'm going to try to jump in with students much more. I'm going to try to build out the community a lot more with students and Wyckoff, because I still think Wyckoff, with a little bit of Elliott Wave thrown on top of you, is a really good way to trade. So, and the Elliott Wave course, I've told Mr. Stein, he's got to hurry up. He's telling me he's going to. I'm going to help move that along if we can get it up here quickly. So
let's do a quick kind of roll call question here, and then we'll get into, somebody wants to look at...
Who's your daddy?
I think somebody wants to look at the XRP chart, the KIN chart, and the VEN chart, if you want to write those down. But my question for you guys is, are we going to hit and break $8,000, or are we heading back down to $7,250? So are we going beyond 8,000? Are we heading back down to 7,250? Those are two of the numbers that I'm seeing a lot on crypto Twitter for the bull versus the bear. I want to see what we think here at Learn Crypto. I really think we're going to stair step higher. Maybe we'll find a short-term minor pullback, but I don't think we're going back to that 7,250 right now. I think we're heading towards 8,000. If we break that mental barrier, then we will have a nice green bar coming out of that. Just like we said, if we break 6,850, we're going to have a nice green bar. Look what happened, and we maintained and added to all those gains. So hopefully you were listening to us back then. Let's see what's happening. Clifford says up, up, and away. Nikechi says 8K plus. Wonderful Block says he wants you to look at Tron. That doesn't answer the question, Wonderful Blocks. Bard says first 7,300. Where's Taj at? I know he's always opinionated. Where's his comment at? The Beef says could test 7,500, but think we break 8K before 7K. So you think we're going to break $8,000 and then fall all the way back down to 7K? That wouldn't look too good with some of the chart counts we got. But
the BitMEX guy, he's saying we're going to go to 9 or 10 and then right back down to 5. Tone Taj. That's what we're going to start calling this, Taj.
The BitMEX guy wants it to go to 9K and go to 5, guys. Don't let him fool you. He makes money. He's running a leveraged trading platform. The more volatility and the more liquidations, the more money he makes. You need to get liquidated for him to profit.
You need to get liquidated.
You're liquidated.
You need to get your...
Looks like a lot of people are saying $8,000, so the community is a little bullish here. Even some of the bears are saying could test 7,500 before we head up higher again. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the charts, the Wyckoff count, everything is leading towards we are going to head towards 8K here. It's really, we just need to break that 8K mental barrier to get the next leg up and see then if we can use 8K as support moving forward. You got a couple of those charts people were requesting?
Tron. And I don't know, again, I don't trade much Tron, really never have had any. Didn't know anything about it till Matt brought it up when it was doing its thing. So I don't know. That was a big rally up out of the range, and then we're now back into it. I guess I would think there's a little bit of value here, but I can't say much else.
Yeah, if you're buying Tron here, I think you're buying it on a speculation that there's supposed to be some kind of cryptic random partnership happening by the end of this month. I'm surprised we have not heard much about it, but as far as I know, there is still going to be some anonymous partnership that will be announced on July 31st. So if you like playing the speculation game, and if that partnership is still going to be announced, then that is the opportunity I see.
Can we run a 10-second disclaimer, because we're talking way too much?
Are not indicative of future returns. Thank you.
Perfect. It only said the last 4 seconds. It's there. You can hit pause and read the disclaimer if you want. We don't give financial advice. We're just here to have some fun and help you guys out, giving our opinions on this crazy cryptocurrency journey and the opportunity of a financial revolution.
Hold on. Here's VEN USD. That was a VEN BTC. And that is... Yeah, that's nothing to brag about either now in VEN. That thing came under big pressure. There's VEN BTC out of the triangle. Oh. I mean, that's got to be a rally up for probably a 1 and then an ABC. So I would think there's some value on that, but can't believe it fell that fast, that hard out of there.
Somebody wants you to look at XLM and KIN, KIN.
KIN is not on TradingView. XMR?
XLM.
XLM USD. Again, that's the 4-hour. So I think that chart looks good. And then I think, we're trying to break through the trend line there. If you go in a little closer, I'd call this the 1-2. I think probably this is the 3, and we're mousing around here for the 4. So if that's the case, we got another run here coming probably to 40 cents, something like that. Some type of Fibonacci probably.
And Hugo's over here wanting you to take a look at XVG. He says he's down 20%. What should I do?
Pornhub, I don't know. XVG USD, that's a 30-minute. I mean, yeah, that looks like a triangle with one more new low coming. So I don't know. That one just came under huge pressure. So, again, I guess I still think there's value in these altcoins. Like Nick said, starting off the show, I don't think selling anything down here makes sense. if you've wrote them down here. So.
And like we've been talking about, we do see a lot of these altcoins going to zero. And what we mean by going to zero is not having a viable product. And maybe they won't be at zero, but they're going to be at a penny. You know, kind of like PCN now. It's just sitting down there waiting for some kind of rebirth to occur. I think that we're going to see one more full market cycle before we really get to that point. But after one more blow off top, one more good market cycle in cryptocurrencies, institutional money is going to be in there. Companies are going to be in there. They're going to be looking for more of a standard. What cryptocurrencies are actually being utilized, like their network has utilizations and transactions on it. Bitcoin probably, DigiByte maybe, probably not Bitcoin Cash. But anyways, and then what products or what platforms generate revenue? That is what is going to keep these afloat if they're actually being used. Is people still building on Ethereum? Are they still building on Neo, EOS, etc.? Do they have utilization of that network? Some of these are going to be proven that you don't need blockchain for them. There's already a competitor in a traditional market, so there's no need for this existence. And the hype is going to start wearing off. So people are going to take money out of these failing projects, put it into the successful projects, because they're the ones that are actually going to be used on a day-to-day basis.
Wilver says, when does the fun start? Because it's all mods in here. That keeps it really clean and really, we're here on business more than anything. We like to have a little bit of fun, but this isn't like a lot of channels. We do our thing here.
So out of all of that, I just don't think I'd be selling a lot of the alts at these bottoms. I think you'll have one more massive bull run in both USD and Satoshi value for these altcoins. But after this next market cycle, you might really evaluate some of the coins that in the products that you are supporting, using, and owning. Because I think after the next market cycle, they're going to have a lot of downward pressure where you're going to start seeing the survivors really lead the charge as a whole in this ecosystem.
And I'm hoping when people want, charts here soon, I actually can jump in on the consolidated volume and hopefully give everybody a little bit of decent value on what we're thinking. So that's the plan here on this channel is, I'm going to bring the software up. I'm going to do what I can here on the live broadcast. And if you want to really jump in, hopefully you bought the course or take the course, purchase the software, and hopefully we can all make some more money. Here's, let's come back to BAT USD. That's one we've been watching. It had that spike up earlier today. I think that one still looks good. And then ADX USD, another one had a big spike today. That touched like 79 or so, back to 53. So unbelievable.
Do you guys have any more charts you want Todd to look at or any more questions that maybe I can answer for you, help you out on a fundamental perspective? If not, we went over some articles. We touched base on some coin news. We touched base on my top 3 out of the top 25 coins here. And of course, Todd is getting really excited about what is being produced with the charting software. And if that charting software becomes 100%, obviously we're not holding this back. If we wanted to just make a quick buck, we would just say, hey, it's for sale right now, guys, but that's not what we want. We have to be here live with you guys each and every day. We don't want to ever sell or use shitty products. We don't want you guys using that, as we know it's your hard-earned money at stake, and that's just not how we roll. We try to be 100% transparent. We're here to help the community, and we're really trying to find success not only for ourselves, but for all of you guys as well. So if it was meant to just be a quick money grab, we would have already released it, but we're just trying to go through with a fine-tooth comb and make sure all the data is reading properly.
We throw out wrenches fast because it's not long to figure out who's in here talking smack. So when everyone in here is not, it's pretty easy just to then get rid of somebody that misuses a wrench. So we'll give you a wrench, but we'll take it from you pretty quick too.
So you got a couple charts you want to look at, but first, Crypto Hunter said, Nick, can you explain Linda X? So apparently there's going to be now, if you want to know more about it, just go to Linda's website, go to the new white paper. On page 29 is when it starts talking about the Linda X platform, and on page 48 is when it really starts talking about the token economics with Linda and Linda X. How do I know these pages off the top of my head? Because I'm investing in it. I'm telling you guys that you might want to look at it, and I read through these white papers a lot. That's how I remember it. But those are the page numbers. Definitely read that. But essentially what Linda X is it's striving to be another protocol token. It's trying to be an Ethereum of sorts, but it is going to have a checks and balances put into place where they're not going to allow just anybody to put an ICO. They have to actually go through a rigorous KYC process. The team has to get validated. They have to have a pre-approved white paper that is going to be approved by the Linda X team. If then they make it through that application process, then and only then they can actually build on the Linda X protocol. What they're trying to do is create an ICO and a development protocol our platform for dApps to be built on it, but have all of these dApps be verified so they can be a trusted protocol source for these dApps that people will be buying, using, etc. That is essentially what they want to do. They want to have a higher standard than right now. Any developer can be like, I'm building on Ethereum. It's all open source. They can build on it, deploy an ICO, and they're done. They kind of want to create a little bit of a centralization with the platform they're building. And the only way to build on LyndaX and the only way to utilize any products on LyndaX will be through the current Lynda token that they have, which right now we know is a peer-to-peer digital currency. They're adding Tor and stealth addresses onto that, so it will be a privacy currency, and then people love it because it has high staking and high master nodes ROI. 70% if you stake, roughly 96% if you node. Obviously, 1/3 of the total supply is already in circulation. So once the other 2/3 are in circulation, which is several years down the road, that ROI will decrease. So keep that in mind. But they haven't announced they have said big announcement for LyndaX. So I think that's where you're going to get a lot of the information that you want, that you just asked me for. But definitely it is already in their white paper that they just released pretty recently. So check that out.
I'll take the chart again. Somebody asking about BNB, which definitely has turned into a short-term dog here. Be interesting. I know that was one of Matt's favorites, but it's 30% off the highs. So be interesting to see where his stop is on that one, because he says he always shoots stops, because that one looks like it's got a dunk coming. And I don't know. I mean, I thought BNB probably was okay. I do not own any. But Binance was hyped, and I guess they're not as hyped now, which probably just makes the coin a little heavy. Myself, if we break this 1141 level, I would probably be a buyer when it breaks there, because that is where it's going to be stopping everybody out. So I'd probably look at that level to be a buyer. Anything below 1140, some weakness, I'd probably take it. And then
I think the downward pressure on that is there's just so many more exchanges popping up each and every single day, which takes away some of their liquidity. But the real value, the long-term value in the BNB token, is going to be the continued random airdrops to its holder, which we haven't had in a while. Also, the fact that they said they were going to use BNB for their own proprietary blockchain, which we haven't heard much about recently either. So I think if Todd says it looks heavy, maybe wait for a pullback. That is still one I wouldn't mind adding to my portfolio on a pullback, just for the speculation for some more airdrops, and the fact that they will probably move forward with their own blockchain, in which they said that coin will be utilized.
We're going to give a few stock things here real quick, because understand we trade stuff here. We don't just talk. So I put this out yesterday to my pro traders. People pay for this. But this is Bank of America. And I thought the TLT was getting ready to turn down. I think I mentioned it live when I did my morning update, maybe Friday, that I thought the high was in, we was in trouble. So today the TLT did come under huge pressure. You can see that the force and OP is trending down pretty hard here. The force definitely. The problem is the technometer is oversold, so I wouldn't be a seller here in the hole. I'd wait for some type of snapback ABC. But I had said normally this is Bank of America versus TLT. So when TLT bond prices go down, interest rates go up, that's normally a good environment for bank stocks. So you can see as TLT collapsed, Bank of America had a big rally. When TLT rallied some, interest rates pulled back a little bit. You can see it went sideways. And then now I think TLT, this would have been Sunday when I gave out the sell. The TLT would be down here now after today's sell-off, and Bank of America was up like 76 cents today. So I think TLT is heading down for the next few months. I think Bank of America, if you bring up a point and figure chart, if all this is accumulation, Bank of America goes from 28 to 38.
Whoa.
And there's the there's what I think is accumulation phase, stair-step accumulation. You had a selling climax here, and then and things did look pretty bad here. I know that over at stockcharts.com they were a little bit bearish on these things. They did look bad, and then I think when it turned around was the green arrow here, when Bank of America came back into the accumulation area on good volume, one of the biggest green bars going back to here. So I think that kind of turned the table. We took out the downtrend line, and then we kissed it on Friday. So that's why I gave a buy on that stock. And again, here is Bank of America. So today it opened up. Hold on, shouldn't have pushed that. At the OP force. So there's today's. It opened up just a hair. I bought the opening, and then it closed pretty good today on decent volume. So I think Bank of America is good here for the next few months. And right now I've got to stop at the low. I always use stops on stock positions because we're looking for a $10 rally. So it's easy to use a 3-point stop. And actually I'm using less than that. So, and I've always said it on the coins, hard to use stops. If you think Bitcoin's headed to even 20, 25,000, which I think is easily attainable, to buy it here, you'd have a stop at 0. So if you're looking for big moves, if you're looking to buy a ZRX, ADA, and looking for a 10X, 20X, whatever you think the upside is, because I think it's huge on some of these coins, it's pretty hard to have a stop unless you're just short-term trading and playing around. If you're trying to increase huge wealth, if you're trying to hit a home run, you've got to use wide stops, if not any stops. So yes, that hurt me the first 6 months of this year, but I did catch the rally that we had in December, January by not using any stops. So net, I think everyone's cool, and I think we're going a lot higher. So
sweet. Somebody said, what do you guys think about, what was it, XLM moving to the number 6 spot? Hey, day one, we've been saying we like XLM here. Now, this thing in Satoshi value has held up extremely well. I'm actually, even though I'm a large holder, I was hoping for more of a fall off here so I can add some to my position. I don't feel comfortable adding because I will be increasing my cost basis so much right here. But after we looked at the chart, Todd, it said it is looking like it is getting ready to be a pork blaster. And, I still like the project for the future. So buying it here is up to you. I will not be doing so. I was hoping for a little bit more of a pullback if Bitcoin did rally here, but I don't know if we're going to get it based on the chart pattern that we are seeing over there on the charts.
Bring me back one more time, because the Beav or whoever it was, ask about Google and a few of these. I mean, here's Google on the chart. This does look like accumulation. Same type of chart kind of as the Bank of America. Higher interest rates will probably hurt this stock, though. But you can see down here, Technometer came down and gave a buy really this day. So the big down day here. And you can see if you look real close, if you zoomed in, the OP made a new low that day while price was holding. I've showed this on various stock examples. So Google would have been a buy that day at 11.15 if you were just looking really at OP.
Yeah, and I know they had their earnings today off hours, but I haven't had it since we were setting up live. I didn't get to see what their earnings happened, so I don't know what they're going to open up tomorrow, but I know a lot of people are interested in that.
But that's Google, and just real quick, because some people couldn't care less about stocks. There's Microsoft on 3 months, so.
Cool.
They've kind of turned their things around with their cloud computing and doing pretty well. So
yeah, they have
that's
their
all
own,
I got.
They have their own private blockchain thing they're working on as well. So we'll see how they incorporate blockchain and cryptocurrencies moving
I've had a long day and a long life. So
Taj says Linda is going to be as badass as Bat. Hey, I don't want to. You guys know I own it, so it's not shilling if I'm telling you I own it.
Yes.
All I'm saying is
yes, it is.
It's at 11.
You will get called out.
I know I'm going to get called out, but I don't really care because I'm going to be laughing
There's
in about 6
somebody
months
sitting
from now.
around with nothing to do and no positions is going to troll you.
The major points here. Linda, new founders burn 2/5 of the total coin supply. Why did they burn that coin supply? Because the previous founder held them. Number 2, 96% ROI with the Masternode infrastructure and a multi-coin staking and Masternode wallet that they produced in 3 months. Pretty impressive UI, pretty impressive development. Awesome. A+. Incorporating privacy features. You know we like privacy features and privacy coins. It has the capability of being on and off there. Great. That's an A+. It has a $12 million market valuation. That is why I like it so much. $12 million market valuation. How many coins out there are valued at $12 million with an actual product, actual partnerships, and an actual active team?
Linda's just not
many.
Linda's not a sexy female name to me. So.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry to the Lindas, but if it was like Brittany or something, then maybe I would have bought it.
I'm not saying go all in on these coins. Obviously, these are smaller portfolio holdings for me, but I definitely think that it has a possibility based on those factors that it could be decent. Somebody else also asked if I was still bullish on ECA. ECA is when we did an interview at 10 Satoshis. It went to 40 Satoshis. You had a 4X during a bear market. I can't tell you when to buy and where to sell. I still hold my ECA because I stake it. Passive income, I'm going to stake it. It's still, with these smaller cap coins, you have to understand the volatility is going to be higher just based on the fact that they have a super low market cap and low volume. I still believe they have had partnership announcements with Aircoins and some ATMs, and they do have their fork coming along. It did get pushed back. That is why you're seeing downward pressure. It was supposed to come out about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. They made a public announcement, said we are pushing it back because we want things to be done properly. We don't want to release a buggy product. So, is that bad for short term? Sure. Is that better for the long-term objective of the coin? I think so. Strong community, strong team, has a fork already on the plane, and has a ton of partnerships and more partnerships coming. I think they need to get on a bigger exchange. That will help them. And then once they start releasing these products into a bull market, I think at the current valuation, it's valued at $25 million. Again, go over to their Discord, and you will see why their community is just so effective. Everybody that is there to help, everybody is having fun, and everybody believes in the vision of ECA. Again, not one to put all your money in, but it's a small cap flyer that you can also earn passive income, which limits the downside risk because you will be earning some of those losses if they occur on a daily, monthly, weekly, yearly basis via staking that coin.
Do your own research too, because Nick knows nothing about anything.
I don't know anything. I just actually made up all those positive things. Hopefully you don't do your own research.
And I will apologize to Cam Bryan. He came in on a past video. I thought he was jabbing me, and I guess he wasn't, so I apologize to him. Sometimes I've been, when I'm working hard and getting trolled, I come out swinging just for something to do. So I did that on him. I've been in a meeting, lots of other things going on, and I thought he took a stab at me. So apologize to Cam. I apologize to him, but haven't heard from him since. So just don't come out swinging, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I just kill him with kindness. I don't
right.
even listen. I'm all for full. I'm fully 100%.
I go full Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I'm all for Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Oh my God. I'm all about debating. As long as just come at we can have total opposite opinions. We can argue as long as the debate has good facts.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll come out of it being like, I still don't agree with you, but that was a great conversation. Glad I gathered
There's never
some
no
knowledge.
facts though.
There we go. I just want facts. That's all.
There's never no facts, and then also, I just get a lot, DM tweets and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, going on that basis
funny.
real quick before we head out of here, I actually sent this out earlier today around 3 o'clock. And this wasn't pertaining to anybody that came at me, but I just see it all over crypto Twitter about coins, etc. I said, for all those that are so quick to pull the scam, fraud, and shield trigger, focus on bettering your argument rather than raising your voice. We see that when people are losing an argument or losing a debate, they just start, oh, you're a scam, you're a fraud, you're a shill, you suck, your mom's dead. Oh, that's terrible. And you see it all over crypto Twitter. So I'm just saying, better your argument. Have a debate. Have a conversation with people because we are all in here together. I don't know when, obviously with the bear market, but crypto Twitter has just became like a battleground. Like you got to put on like the army gear to get on here and have discussions. And that's not how it used to be.
And then it's always the ones with some stupid made-up name calling me a fraud when I got my name. I mean, everything I do is out here.
I got my name, my picture, I'm live.
And I give my opinion every second of every day almost. So, and yeah, I'm going to be wrong some. But you can be right 60% of the time and kill this game. So, and I will do that. So.
Awesome. Well, that is really about it. Hopefully we'll come back here today. Hopefully the charts will be working in our favor. We'll have some more news articles for you. We will be live tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Make sure if you want to have a chance to win the Zen we're giving away tomorrow, leave a comment in the comment section below with that Zen address. and come tune in with us live tomorrow. And if you are sitting there watching us each and every day, because we get about 800 views to 1,000 views or whatever, but yet we only see about 30 names in here, don't be afraid to chat it up. Don't be afraid to ask us questions or the community questions, or just throw out a coin that you like so Todd can go ahead and look at the chart. That's what it's about. That's how we find some of these interviews, some of these coins we like, and some of these massive gains that we have seen even during the bear market. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Shout out
Gugan.
a new subscriber right in time because we are tuning out.
And if you have legally changed your name to Wen Moon, get a hold of us, Skype in, and we'll put you live on the show.
Change your name to Wen Moon and you are on the show.
Right. If you're a female, we might even, get your phone number. I want to date Wen Moon.
Wen Moon. See you guys later. See you tomorrow. And keep having fun out there.
Peace out.
Oh, hey, stay positive, pal. Most people, when they lose, they whine and quit. But you got to be there for the turns. Everybody's got good luck. Everybody's got bad luck. Don't run when you lose.
Play hard, play clean. Be careful out there.
We'll see you all again. Sleep tight.